Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video you will see all of the track action and the Supercar Sound Off from Beaulieu's Supercar Weekend.
Ladies and gentlemen, please can you put your hands together for our first car on the demonstration run. And we are starting with a real treat here for you, ladies and gentlemen. A Dodge Vibe for this one, GTS. V10 with 450 horsepower, lighting up those rear tyres. Leaving all the first car, that was a great start. Coming up next for you. Do we have any fans of the Audi R8? Because if we do, you're going to love this. This one is the V10 Plus model. Of course, the second generation R8 doesn't have a V8 option anymore, just V10 or V10 Plus. And this is the full fat V10 Plus one. It does have that 5.2 litre V10 in it. Next up, we're heading over to this is the Ferrari Portofino 3.9 litre twin turbo V8 in the front, rear wheel drive. 2 seats in the middle, one of the nicest places to sit. Here we go. Launch control engaged, builds on the rev. We can hear the turbos spooling up. Watch is for the checkered flag to drop out. There it goes, and away we go. Oh, brakes as he got it dead centre. He can definitely hear you, ladies and gents, with the roof down. Cheer him on. Now you have Aston Martin DB9 GT Volante. The DB9 GT will sort of the DB9 swan song, if you like, ladies and gents. It's a 6 litre V12 540 horsepower, 0-60 in just 4.5 seconds. It's the ultimate incarnation of the DB9. Very efficient off the line there, ladies and gents, if not the most exciting. Coming up for you next, ladies and gents, Lamborghini and an Aventador. 6.5 litre V12, near 700 horsepower in this. Have your cameras ready, ladies and gents, because this looks stunning when it's stood still, but looks even better when it's flying away. 4-wheel drive into the house from looks something out of a cartoon, that car, or of course we would expect that from everyone's saying. Those are the first cars. We're going to regroup them now down at Palace House, and they're going to come all the way back up the hill. So make sure you are cheering them, ladies and gents, especially for those in convertibles. Let them know if they've done a good job or not. Coming up next for you, ladies and gents, we have some very rare cars indeed. In fact, we've got a car here that I'm pretty sure very few of you will have seen in the flesh. It's a Reisman, which is a 1988 established German manufacturer. Now, they usually specialise in hand-built custom convertibles, but this is even rarer, being a GT hardtop. We've also got a new Taycan Turbo as well, Porsche's all-electric car. That's coming up for you next, ladies and gents, but first we need to bring our last track back up, and of course we start with our 8 litre driver. And ladies and gents, put your hands together, that's real crowd please, and that was spot on, thank you very much, and that was in our sale yesterday as well. He came a very, very close second, just losing out to Adam C in his Cobra. If you want to see that, that video is on YouTube already. Next up, we have our Lamborghini engined Audi R8. It's a 4-wheel drive coupe, absolutely super. Losing territory. Well, the second generation looks exceptionally close to the E-Croft concept show and that motor show before the car's launch. Coming up next then, the Ferrari Portofino, one of Ferrari's latest offerings. now embracing twin turbo technology on the V8 in this, mounted up front 3.9 litres. Engaging launch control here, we'll get a little shuffle from the rear wheel. A lovely dump of the boost there on those two turbos. Such a good looking car, that. Such a good leap forward from the California T which ran before it. Now we have the DB9 GT. GT only features on Aston Martin's DB models for the very fastest cars. And this was one of the very last DB9s built. Of course, DB9 replaced DB7, and it was a huge step forward in terms of design. Very much a grand tourer. There are a few places nicer. It's absolutely stunning there from Aston Martin. And now, of course, we go over to Lamborghini. They seem to like styling their cars with, well, samurai swords by the look of it, just all angles, and my word, doesn't it look stunning coming up our Supercar hill here. Listen to that beat on Derby. Sorry sir, you can't come back for another go, you'll have to wait for the next run. Speaking of, the next run is about to begin, ladies and gents. Please put your hands together for our second batch of cars. And then we're going to play a car that's built in Germany with a 4.8 litre BMW V8 380 horsepower, good for 186 miles an hour. Absolutely flying down the hill and hard on the brakes to stop. Absolute dead centre. Don't forget, ladies and gents, make sure you keep clapping and cheering them if they do stop dead centre. Now then, ladies and gents, we move on to a Marcos here for you. Aptly named Bluebird on the back here. This one featuring a Rover V8. Sounds absolutely gorgeous, that burbling away. 4-litre Rover V8, good for about 150 miles an hour. Now then, ladies and gents, you won't hear much from this car, but make sure you keep your eyes peeled, because this is the very latest Porsche Taycan Turbo. Of course, it is full electric, so you might wonder why has it got a turbo badge. Well, Porsche are taking the turbo badge to show just their very fastest cars. This has got two electric motors putting out 680 brake horsepower. Here we go. Acceleration from that. Tesla, you better have your eyes open, because that is coming and breathing down your neck. Next up then, the first of our McCallums, ladies and gents. V8 mounted in the back of this, almost in the centre of the car. You can hear the turbo spooling away even on tickover. In the McLaren, and a gorgeous body to go with it as well. Then we move on to our Mercedes here. Not just any SLS, this is an SLS AMG with a full stonking V8 in the front of it. 6.2 litres, 570 horsepower, good for nigh on 200 miles an hour. Sounds like a thunderstorm rolling down our hill. That car, absolutely gorgeous. All power down on the second run down. Now the drivers have got their eyes in on our track. We're going to regroup them and bring them back up to the top of the hill. We've got a real treat coming up for you next as well. We've got Ferrari and Lamborghini joining us in the next run. And we've sandwiched the McLaren right in the middle of them as well. proper Ferrari joining us as well. They're all proper Ferraris, but this one is a full naturally aspirated V8 with an F1 paddle gearbox. Just wait until you hear that V8 howl from the Ferrari's rear end. It's going to be spectacular, ladies and gents. But first we need to bring back our last batch up the hill, and we are starting with that hand-built German Weissman with that BMW engine up front of it. This one a GT. They only built about 1,500 cars, Weissman, so and most of them were convertibles. This one is an ultra-rare GT model. Looks absolutely stunning, fully hand-built by craftsmen in Germany. Coming up later for you, ladies and gents, in one of our runs, we've got an Aston Martin V8 Vantage, one of the old 1970s brutes that's done over 250,000 miles. But first we need to bring our Marcus back up the hill with that 4-litre Rover V8. Now you may be looking at this and in comparison with some of the modern machines that are on our hill, it doesn't look that quick, but trust me, when this came out, it was a very potent machine. Not much weight to it at all, and that lovely Rover V8 Verbal. Won't get any verbal from what's coming up next though, our Porsche Taycan Turbo, which is the very fastest of the Taycan. Now, this car only came out in 2020, was the first production all-electric Porsche, already accounted for 8% of Porsche's total production. Now listen very carefully here, ladies and gents, as the launch mode is engaged, you'll hear those motors almost whir into motion. Absolutely ridiculous. The last time I saw something go that quick, well, it was a road, let's be honest, or a wasp. Bends the laws of physics, that car. Right then, let's have our next one. A McCallum coming back up and joining us, that V8 right in the centre of the car for perfect weight distribution. Hard on the brakes and coming to a lovely stop there, right in the centre of our supercar run. Launch mode engaged for our second takeaway. Here we go. Really getting the power down there. Absolutely stunning machine. That's all grey on the outside, black interior with full red. Seatbelt, stunning place to be. And finally, we should have our SLS AMG with that huge V8 in the front of it. Let's listen to him. Now we have some bright marked distance for some of our old vehicles, which haven't got the same braking efficiency, but as you'll see, some of these more modern cars have got such good brakes that they can brake far later, but of course we don't want any accidents here today. I'm Beaulieu. Right then, can I ask you all please put your hands together for our third batch of cars. Of course, as soon as you think of supercars, you think of Ferrari, and this is a 360 Spider complete with the F1 manual transmission. Engine in the back, fully naturally aspirated. Listen to this Ferrari howl. There is something very special about hearing that Ferrari. Next up, we have our 600 long tail from McCallum. 4.8 litre V8 twin turbo. 600 is the brake horsepower. 600 brake horsepower. You can see the exhaust actually come out the top of the car here. Driver is very focused. Launch control engaged. Power down, no wheel spin whatsoever from our long tail. Now then, let's welcome another Lamborghini to the run here, and this I do believe is one of the most expensive Aventador Roadsters ever built, ladies and gents. Burbling away, ready to go, 6.5 litre V12, roof down. Ridiculous, that car getting into second gear before stamping on the brake. Ladies and gents, welcome noise to the hill, our McLaren 720S. We're having to break up some of the McLarens and Lamborghinis and Ferraris to keep them apart and try and keep everyone behaving. Launch control engage, level this 720S has the track pack, which means you've got more carbon fibre, it's lighter, and a full titanium roll cage. This one's the demo car. Now we see the Ferrari F430, which was the successor to the 360 that you saw earlier. This one with a 4.3 litre V8. Just listen to this Ferrari hell. Something very special indeed. Goes right up your spine. Hard on the brakes, if he just about stopped that, can't tell you Mike. And this car also featured in our Sound Off yesterday. If you weren't here yesterday, you can see it in the Sound Off and hear this thing rev up. It sounds more like a machine gun than a car. This V8 bi-turbo, the E63S. Certainly you have to be a little bit unhinged to buy one of those cars and think, yes, this isn't quite fast enough for me, I want something quicker. That one is modified and it was in our Sound Off yesterday. I urge you all to have a look at that video and listen to that car because it sounded spectacular. It was one of the loudest cars we had here. Now coming up for you in the next batch, I can see that we've got a very special Porsche. I do believe we have a GT3 RS joining us. We've also got a 250,000 mile V8 Vantage. We've also got another Aston and a Lamborghini Aventador behind that. But before we release that, we need to bring this batch back up, and we're starting with the 360 Spider. Has the same effect on your right engines, that spine-tingling noise that you get from it. Now then, let's have our McLaren come up next. Just watch how efficient this car is coming up the hill. Absolutely no messing around. It doesn't even look like it ducks under acceleration. Just brutally fast for the McLaren. Coming up next for you, the Lamborghini Aventador, this one in Roadster, so you can hear all of that 6.5 litre V12 noise. Almost getting into third gear there, and that is so much the seats off. Lamborghini will not be making cars like this for much longer. This is very much sort of the end of an era for the V12, especially with all of the new emissions and everything coming into play. Somewhat ahead of the trend were McLaren when they brought out the original MP412C. It's had that twin-turbo V8, whereas everyone else was still naturally aspirated, and of course they've carried on that trend with this. From those tyres, getting all the power down, and the active aero just slotted itself back into place. And now the successor of the 360, the F430, coming to join us. Just listen to this hell. There's something very special about looking down the Supercar hill here and seeing the Ferrari. Through those rear wheels, of course, now Ferraris are turning to turbocharging to meet emission standards and get even more performance from their cars. Speaking of getting more performance from their cars, have a look at this E63S. Just listen to to go here, ladies and gentlemen. After the Supercar Sound Off yesterday, with that popping and backing away in the central arena, we had to pop round to the residents and just let them know that World War 3 has broken out. Coming up next for you then, we have our Porsche GT3 RS. Engine over the rear wheels. I guarantee to you that this car will not unstick itself down our hill. Our Porsches always find traction, even when it's wet. It was the exact same yesterday. It's even drier here today. 4 litre flat 6 in this, over 500 horsepower. Just like the McCallum, old efficient Coming up next for you then, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a trip down memory lane all the way down to 1977 with this. This is an Aston Martin V8 Vantage with the 5.3 litre V8. 5.3 seconds to 60, which means it was faster than the Ferrari Daytona. This car, I reckon, has done the most miles out of more or less any car here, whether it's on display here or in the car park. It's done 253,000 of them, and he's done a full restoration on that car as well. Now we move from history lane to something a little bit more modern from Aston's offering. Stunning looking car. This takes its cues from the ultra rare 177. Marking the way. Now then, coming up for you next is number 98 of 98. This is our Ginetta. Now I guarantee to you he's going to put on a show for you, ladies and gents. Have your cameras ready, expect to see tyre squeal all the way down the hill. Rover 4 litre V8, let's see what it should do. I guarantee to you, stance on the lane, He's not shy at all using that. And then we are going to bring in our final car from this batch, which is our Aventador X. 6.5 litre V12. It's huge. This car doesn't really have an exhaust, it just has a cave mounted on the rear bumper. Launch mode changed. Right then, ladies and gents, let's regroup them all down at Palace House if you are heading around the grounds here today, ladies and gents. Make sure you do head down towards Palace House. We have our supercar lawn down there, and you can see ultra rare things like an XJ220. You can also find a Lamborghini Miura. Now, if you've only ever seen pictures of the Miura and you haven't gone up close and personal to it, please do go down and have a look, ladies and gents, because they are just pieces of art. Speaking of pieces of art, we have also got a sculpture exhibition here at Beaulieu. You asked very nicely and you want to take one of them home, we may just sell one to you, so make sure you check those out. And also on your way down to Palace House, you will find our super secret super SUV garden, which features an aerial Nomad. See if you can find out where it is, see if you can spot the aerial Nomad. But first, let's bring our first car back up, our Porsche GT3 RS. If ever there was a weapon for a track, this is flat 6 mounted pretty much over those rear wheels, giving so much traction. And those rear wheels are absolutely humongous. We've had Porsches down our hill before, even in the pouring rain, they will not let go. They just find traction from nowhere, it seems. Now then, we have a trip down memory lane, 1977 Aston Martin V8 Vantage, a proper brute this. Even though it's absolutely huge, it was still faster to 60 than the gorgeous Ferrari Daytona. Later on in life, Aston enlarged the engine to 6.3 litres. This one's had a nut and bolt restoration done by the owner from the ground up. I always say cars are meant to be driven, not just sitting in warehouses and not being looked at. They should be out being enjoyed, and that one certainly has been, having clocked up more than 250,000 miles. Next up then we have our 177 inspired Aston Martin. V12 in the front of it, 2 seats in the middle, rear wheel drive, perfect combination. Speaking of pieces of art, this looks like a piece of art coming up hill there, ladies and gents. Next up then, Janetta, get ready for our crowd pleaser. How far can he spin those rear wheels? Let's see. Back drops, here we go. Hard on the brake, and coming to a stop, ladies and gentlemen. Are you trying to make those wheels square, sir? Locking up all the way up there. And finally we have our Aventador S coming up, 6.5 litres of V12 power. Almost barking over the overrun there. Unusual to see one in blue as well. And there you are, ladies and gentlemen, the final car on our first run here today. Can you come to... Well, and it's stopped dead centre. Don't forget to cheer him on, ladies and gentlemen, if he does manage to... Going up next for you then, we have V12 Aston Martin. This one, the DBS Supercar. I think this is one of the prettiest cars that will be made in modern times. As well. The DBS Supercar has the 5.2 litre V12 fitted with 2 turbochargers. Next up, a Lamborghini Huracan, V10 mounted in the centre of this car, 4-wheel drive, and a dry lime green as well. Well, exhaust hard on the brakes, so I do believe we managed to get that dead centre indeed. So you're going to love our next 2 cars. The first, our Chevy car, is a 455 brake horsepower, 4.5 seconds to 60 at a top speed of 190. And this was the first UK spec Camaro in the UK, even though it is a left-hand drive. And it's in the right colours as well. You may recognise it from Transformers as Bumblebee. And now the Camaro's arch enemy, the Mustang, is the 5 litre engine. This has been breathed on, shall we say, somewhat. A long list of modifications for this. Even more power. So there were your first 5, ladies and gents, heading down towards Palace House. I recommend that you do have a walk down towards Palace House, ladies and gents, at some point today, because we have our supercar lawn down there with the likes of the Lamborghini Miura and other very rare cars indeed. If you've never seen a Miura up close and personal before, this is the perfect time to do it because they are stunning vehicles. If you think they look pretty in pictures, wait until you see it in the flesh. Some other real rarities down there as well, including the Koenigsegg. Now we're regrouping the cars, we're going to bring them back up, and of course we are going to start with our V-Storm. It sounds like a Group A rally car from the 90s, and of course it shares an engine with one of those cars. You may remember Colin McRae's Subaru Impreza, and this sounds exactly like it, but with the central driving position, just like a McLaren F1. The flag is waving, we're waiting for the all clear to go, and our driver will build up the boost. And get ready here, the pops of fans of that anti-lag system extracts all of the power from that Blackpool Subaru engine. They have a short hold on the track as well, just clearing an obstruction from the exit road. As soon as we get the all clear, we will release the next batch of cars up the hill. That flag holding up our V-Storm, the driver there ready and waiting to go. Here we go then, ladies and gents, the flag has dropped, builds up the boost on that platform exit. Sounds more like gunfire coming up the hill here. Fire being cannoned down on the platform. If you want to get up close and personal to that car, you can on the Sporting Bears stand. They do fantastic work for charity, the Sporting Bears. You can see them just on the infield of the track. Coming up next then, one of the prettiest cars to be made in modern history, in my opinion. This is DBS Super Leggero from about 4 years ago. This is the edition of this car. More on the work of art with wheels, in my opinion, with a fantastic V12 soundtrack to boot. Next up then, 5.2 litres of V10 power housed in this gorgeous Lamborghini body. The Huracan taking on the hill. Hard on the brakes, such a flat and well. That V10 Howell up the hill. And in the right colour for a Lamborghini as well, on tin I should all come in right colours, such as our bright yellow Camaro, which is about to come up the hill next, right in front of our Mustang. Just behind that we have this car with a 5-litre motor V8, but this car actually puts out more power than the Camaro thanks to multiple upgrades. Now then, the Mustang drivers sometimes do a bit of going out first. Not sure if we're going to have one today, let's see. Nice and dry for us today. It was very wet and slippery yesterday, but nice and dry for us today. We're going to welcome our next batch of cars into the main straight there now, ladies and gentlemen, and we are starting with our Mercedes SLS AMG 6.3 litre, well 6.2 but 6.3 litre V8. Changes gear. And then, ladies and gents, be ready for this one. This one is a real treat. If you were here yesterday, you may have seen this car, but since yesterday, the owner of this vehicle has turned up the boost on the 2 turbo that have been strapped to this car. Horsepower, ladies and gents, 4.3 seconds to 60. That's what he's going to do here. Next up, we have our Aventador SVJ 6.5 litre V12, which is 760 horsepower, 2.8 seconds to 60. Supercar Festival. First time a couple of years ago when it had got 4 miles on the clock and he still did that with it. Next up there we have our Jaguar F-Type. We're not just any F-Type, this one the SVR. The 5-litre V8 supercharged engine in this has been tuned to produce over 660 3.2 seconds 0-60 time and over 200 mph top speed. Now we started this batch with a Mercedes, so we're going to carry on with that now. This is our AMG GTR, a 4-litre V8 twin-turbo engine, comes to that pushing out all the way. See if we're going to be going launch control, there we are, launch control, little screw up on the rear wheels, and away we go. Coming up in your next batch, ladies and gentlemen, we have got the likes of 2 Porsches joining us, an Aston Martin. We've also got a V10 Audi, and I do believe we've also got a McCallum in the mix as well. So we're going to regroup the cars now down at Palace House to bring them back up. While you're on your way down to Palace House, ladies and gents, you can also find our super secret super SUV oven. These cars are hidden away somewhere on site for you, ladies and gents. We'll show you a little challenge, a couple of Easter eggs if you can find them. The one that I'm asking you to find this weekend is the aerial Nomad, which is effectively scaffolded with wheels and can do 130 miles an hour pretty much on any surface. So coming up first we have our SLS AMG. Glorious V8 soundtrack in the front of that car, shaped like a bullet coming up the hill there. Now then, be ready for this one. If we have another burnout from this car, ladies and gents, I want you to cheer and clap as loud as you possibly can. So this Mustang is pushing out over 100 horsepower twin turbos that have just been fitted to it, and he's turned up the boost as well. Let's see if we're going to have another burnout from our owner. Turned up the boost. Ladies and gents, put your hands together for me for that rivalry car. When he scrolled towards me, I was nervous, and then as he revved up, I lost my hearing. Coming up next then, our SVJ Aventador, even more power out to 12. Glorious colour that's on that car. It's actually had a clear wrap put on there, but the original paint has been changed to look more of a matte finish. Great owner of that car as well, a real treat to see that. Now we have our SVR Jaguar coming up. Now have a listen as this car comes up. From the front end, all you'll hear is the supercharger whining away. So that whine that you can hear from the front is that supercharger literally dumping fuel and air into that V8 engine. Now we have AMG GTR coming up to join us. You saw the SLS earlier. Holding the car just down there for a second as we have got somebody on the exit road, and of course we can't have one of these cars flying around the corner with somebody unknowingly. Not only could they potentially get run over, but the engines on these cars are so big they may just get eaten alive. Holding the car at the bottom of the track, ready for him to head back up to the top. Here we go, the flag drops and away we go. Just listen to the V8 thunder. Whereas the SLS was naturally aspirated, this now has 2 turbos strapped to it, so it's the same amount of power, and a lovely whistle from those turbos as well as it came off the power. Coming up next for you then, ladies and gents, we have our Porsche 911 GT3 RS. If you're here this morning, you saw this car. Oh, so well planted, the Porsches. That straight flat 6 engine across the rear axle gives so much grip that even in the wet these cars grip and go. Pilot 2 tyres as well are going to give even more traction. The flag drops, here we go. Very hard to unstick the car there, but it just will not let go. Coming up next then, we have the Porsche Turbo S, sorry for flat 6, wasn't powerful enough, driving 2 turbos to it. These things are so fast, ladies and gentlemen, you're going over 200 miles an hour before this car runs out of puff. So fast. Stopped absolutely dead sense, don't forget to show your appreciation again, launch control again, and away we go. Coming up next then, we have one of Aston Martin's latest generation of Vantage models. Burning away, ready to go. This is the ex-Aston Martin press car as well. Got the Mercedes-AMG V8 in the front of it, and this car will be the only car in the world to make that engine with a manual transmission when it comes available. Moving from Aston Martin then to McCallum, also with a V8 and again with 2 turbos on the back of it. Turbos ruled and others very still to get on the away from engine mounted in the centre of the car there, pretty much perfect weight distribution, exactly what you want if you're going to be using this car on track, but it's also comfortable to also use it in the real world as well. It's so criticised for being a bit boring, would you believe it, ladies and gents. Not so now though, McCallum really have come to their range together, bringing out multiple new cars every single year. Coming up next for you, ladies and gents, just looking down the next batch, we start with a V10 engined Audi and then a V10 engined Lamborghini. We've got a Marcos just behind that as well. I do believe we have the aerial Nomad joining us, which will do 130 miles an hour on or off-road. Car that you don't want to take off-road though, apart from if you're going to go on the track, is the first car coming back up the hill, which is our GT3 RS. Our drivers trying hard to unstick this car, but trust me, you cannot unstick one of these. Even in the rain, these cars find traction on our demonstration straight. That flat 6 engine over the rear wheels, giving so much traction as well. Next 2 cars share a lot in common with each other. They're both V10 engines, despite one being an Audi, the other a Lamborghini. But let's go back to the track now. You can see our Porsche has stopped at bang centre. I think the only thing quicker than this car is its gear change, ladies and gents. That was phenomenally fast. Next up then, we have our Porsche Turbo S joining us up the hill. These are phenomenally fast cars. They don't look it, but they will do over 200 miles an hour. Absolutely perfect, ladies and gents. Don't forget to cheer them on. Just look at the pace of that car. The only thing faster than that, I do believe, is the electric Porsche that they brought out last year, and now it's around 8% of Porsche's overall production. The thing I love about the 911 is you genuinely can use it every day. Coming on next then we have the latest Aston Martin Vantage, and this is Aston Martin's Express car. So you would have seen this on the likes of Top Gear, and of course you can go around Top Gear World here at Beaulieu. Mercedes drive V8 engine in front of it, and when they release the manual version of this car, it will be the only car in the world to offer that engine with a manual transmission. Going on next we have McCallum joining us. Also with the V8 in 2 turbos, McLaren's own 3.8 unit in the back of it, right in the centre of the car. Which is a minimal force to be reckoned with, but whereas the Ferrari was a 4.5 litre natural aspirated V8, this was a 3.8 twin turbo. But they were pretty much as fast as one another. Now then, if you like V10s, you're going to like our next 2 cars. Both of them have pretty much the same engine, share a lot of parts with one another, except one has an Audi badge and the other has a Lamborghini badge. But listen out, see if you can hear the difference. 4-wheel drive will get plenty of traction. Here we go. To hear it again, ladies and gents. This is the Huracan Evo, ladies and gents. The Evo means evolution and is Lamborghini's latest iteration of the Huracan. Should be even louder with twin tailpipes at the back. Here we go. Hard on the brakes and a little bit of a squirrel, but I do believe we managed to get that absolutely central. Now then, ladies and gents, we have another Marcus joining us on the track here. Believe it or not, that this car was actually a track car that's been made road legal. Hard on the brakes there, that is a track car made legal. It's got 6.2 litre LF3 V8 in it. Next up we have the aerial Nomad, which yes, it does look like scaffolding with wheels, but just watch this go. It's going to be 130 miles an hour on pretty much any snow, you know, it can do it. The Nomad has a 2.4 litre Honda engine in it, putting out around 235 brake horsepower, 0 to 60 in just 3.4 seconds. So ladies and gents, let's group them all back up at Palace House and bring them back up. Like I said, make sure you do go down to Palace House, which is where you can see our supercar lawn with the likes of Koenigsegg and the Lamborghini Miura down there as well. Also make sure you have a look around our super SUV Secret Garden, where you can get up close and personal with the Nomad that you just saw head down the hill. Also make sure you join me in the main arena, ladies and gents, at 2 o'clock this afternoon, which is where we're going to have our Supercar Sound Off. We're going to find out who has got the loudest car, and then we're going to find out which car you think sounds best. So make sure you're there for that at 2 o'clock, ladies and gents. If you want to see all of the track action here today and get up close and behind the scenes, make sure you search on YouTube for Our Tim. Hit that subscribe button, you'll get the video tonight on today's action. First up then, the first of our V10 powers, which is our Audi R8. The R8 when it came out in 2007. Nestling its way into a very tough market, the likes of Porsche got that market pretty much nailed, and then Audi came along and pretty much changed the way we thought of sports supercars. Originally it was a V8, now the V10, now you can only go with V10, V10 or V10 Plus format. It is Lamborghini Huracan this pretty sure Batman was driving that. Anyway, coming on next for you, ladies and gents, we have got our Marcos Mantis. This is an LS3 V8 powered monster. It was a track car that they've got number plates to. Hard on the brakes. Definitely one of the better ones in the world than a V8. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, the aerial Nomad, which can do 130 miles an hour on track, on road, off road. You name it, it can do it. Aerial top there at him. Fitted what seems to be part of the race suspension. 2.4 litre Honda engine going up the hill and rounding off our second demonstration. Well, ladies and gentlemen, can I ask you all to put your hands together for our cars and drivers.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Beaulieu Supercar Sound Off. How are you all doing, ladies and gentlemen? Are you well? Excellent, excellent. Right, before we get going, I want to find out which one of you had the best day. So we'll come over and see you guys first. How are you all doing over here? You having a good day so far? Last year was an absolute nightmare with COVID, and the team here at Beaulieu pulled out all the stops to keep this place going and to keep events going. Can you all please put your hands together and give a huge cheer for all of the staff here at Beaulieu, all of the volunteers? Put your hands together for me! For you, ladies and gentlemen. It's not just for you, it's also for someone here. Laura, come join me, please. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Laura. Come in, Laura, come in. How are you doing today? Are you well? Now, I want to check something. You have no idea where I'm talking here, do you? You have a good day? Are you a bit nervous? No. Okay, don't be nervous. One of the hearts here. You want to propose to this?
Will you marry me? Yes. Yes? Yes.
Congratulations. Please put your hands together. Congratulations. Let's move on to the main event, shall we? Right then, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to the main event, shall we? Let's find out which of our cars is latest. We're going to find out what each of our cars is called before we begin. We're going to start all the way down here. This has got a 6.2-litre Chevy. Out of the Corvette. And this car, ladies and gentlemen, pretty much holds the record for everything. It can go from 0 to 100 miles an hour and back to 0 in 8 seconds. Let that sink in, okay? 8 seconds. That's not 0 to 100, that's 0 to 100 and then back to 0. I'm surprised that your eyes are not like round the side of your head.
I'm going to try and do it down the straight a bit.
That's what I'm trying to do down the straight. So I've got a 6.2-litre V8 now. You've got, it's a little smaller, it's V6, 3-litre V6. Well, you have got something in the back pocket, you've got a decent exhaust on this, haven't you?
270 brake horsepower, not very big, but a straight pipe.
Excellent, we love a set of straight pipes. Right, so that's our NSX. Now then, you might look at this and think it's an Atom, it's not. It's a V-Sort, this is not a Super engine. It's got a typical 1.0 Super engine. A 2.1 stroke Super engine. With turbos and anti-lock. Sweet looks like a granddad's car. And this is a granddad's car, yes. However, there's nothing granddaddish about it at all. This car is as bonkers as this man's shirt. It's methanol injected, which basically means it's running on drag fuel. turn the boost up on both the turbos?
Yeah.
Yes, and he laughs. People are utterly insane around here, I know it. Right then, hello there, sir. How are you? Right, how are you? I'm good. You've also got a Toyota V8. Any mods?
Cobra exhaust straight through.
A straight-through exhaust on a V8. That's superb. Now, I might need my sunglasses for this car because it is the royalty thing. It's also the most expensive electrical roadster ever built.
6.7 litre V12, 740 horsepower.
740 horsepower. Wow. Right then, and now we're going on to our V12 Ferrari. Hello there. Now, this is what? 6.3, 6.5?
6.3 litre V12 with 790 brake horsepower.
And the exhaust system?
Titanium
Titanium race exhaust on a V12 Ferrari. Now then, hello, you're not talking about, are you? You've got a Supercar Mustang here.
With the supercharged, so it's 5 litre V8
850 horsepower, and she's yours. Right for me. And then finally we go on to our Audi V10 Plus. And any mods on that exhaust?
Just a racing.
A race exhaust. There you are then, ladies and gents. Before we get going, would you like to hear all of them together? Not so good. Would you like to hear them all together? All right, so, ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. And you can take it away after 3, 2, 1. Down with the ultimate. So come on, James, I've come around with our ultimate. This has got the Chevy V8 in it. Are you ready, sir? Take it away for me. Only to reading is 120.7 decibels. Like, yeah, that's clever. Now down here, the short away. So we've got 124.6 speeds. 120. Almost, right then. Moving from the 8 over to the 12. You ready? Take it away. So we've currently got 124 speeds. 120. 158. Beaten just yet. Right then. Let's see what a supercar
Okay, it's got a limiter at 3,500.
So this car's got a little utility on the side. Limiter at 3.5, and let's see what you can do. Right, let's see what we've got. It's not good news. So apparently we're allowed to charge it over to 120. 120? Right then, let's see. D10. Good luck. Here we go. Straight for exhaust. Yeah, 124.2 speeds. I'm sorry, but they will make it just for this class here. It was Supercar Sound Off trophy, they have to get the loudest cheer from you, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to walk down, we're going to hear each car individually first, and then I'm going to walk back down, and when I point to the car, I want you to cheer as loud as you possibly can, okay? So let's hear your team first. Take it away. This is it. When I point to the car that you want to win, I want you to cheer as loud as you possibly can. Dan, please take up your position in the centre of the arena. He is going to be listening for the loudest cheer. Whoever gets the loudest cheer wins. If you would like the ultimate GTR to win, cheer for me now. V8 not fair too well just yet. If you'd like the straight line to SX to be, cheer for me now. What about the Zero engine V6? Well, that's with cheer for me now. Get the feeling, I'll get a bit of an increase in volume. If you'd like the Supercharged Jaguar to win, cheer for me now. If you'd like the twin turbo Mustang to win, cheer for me now. If you would like the 5-litre Mustang to win, cheer for me now. If you'd like the V12 Lamborghini to win, let me hear you now. That's it, cheer now. The Supercars Sound Off, that's it, cheer for me now. Alright, I think we've got the top 4. The 2 V12s and our 2 V8s. It's not bad effort, this isn't 2 V12s and 2 V8s. If you would like the Jaguar to win, cheer now. If you'd like the twin turbo Mustang to win, cheer now. Cheer now! Alright, we're down to the top 2. Sir, come join me. Sir, come join me. This is it. Come join me, V8, V12, join me. No, 4 cylinders, which is more, but you've got 2 turbos making it. America, Italy. Black, nothing. If you would like the twin turbo Mustang to win, cheer for me now. If you would like the V12 Lamborghini to win, cheer for me now. Right then, ladies and gents, this is it. As loud as you possibly can. I want you to dig deep for me on this one. Come on, there's nobody waiting. It's alright, nobody's waiting. Come on,
Laura support.
Come on, join us. Give me one of these. Alright. So if you want the V8 Mustang to win, this is it, and the last cheer. Cheer as loud as you possibly can after 3. 1, 2, 3. And if you would like the V12 Lambo to win, cheer for me now.
What is it?
Alright, let me check the results. Here we go, ladies and gents.
Let's see, I don't know. It's close. It's close.
I have the results.
Oh,
The winner of the last Supercar Sound Off here at Beaulieu Supercar Weekend 2021 is... Cheer, young man. Well done, the Mustangs! Ladies and gentlemen, I give you your winner for the Supercar Sound Off, a twin turbo V8 Mustang. Put your hands together for me! That's for you. That is the competitive trophy. Look after it. Would you like to hear it one last time, ladies and gents? Jump in your cars. I hope you're all ready for this. Let's have one last rev off, shall we? After 3. 1, 2, 3, go! ladies and gents, we will have our third and final supercar demonstration run coming up for you at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Are you ready for the third and final run of the day? Put your hands together for our first car. It is in PBSDR. Please saw this with the platform. Gorgeous McLarens. This one a 675 long tail. You can hear the turbo spooling away on that V8 mounted directly in the middle of the car. Waiting for our car to clear the track. At the bottom we've got a couple of red flags as we've got a couple of people on the exit road and we can't afford to have anybody on track. But coming up next for you is this gorgeous 675 LT 3.8 litre V8 with 2 turbos to it for good measure.
It's got a steering wheel, guys. It's got a steering
This you can expect to get about 660 horsepower from. And you'll be going at 60 miles an hour in just 2.9 seconds. You can see the active aero coming Ferrari F12, and this isn't any F12, this is an F12 and larger with the 6.3 litre V12. Ferrari wasn't enough for you, you can of course take it to know because they brought just 15 low body titanium exhaust. Now then, the ultimate GTR complete with a Chevy V8 in the back of it. This car holds pretty much every record going for a production car. As you heard earlier, this will go from 0 to 100 miles an hour and back to 0 in 8 seconds. 8 seconds to go from a standstill. If you want to sit in the right seat, close. Next up we have a V12 powered Lamborghini 6.5 litre V12 with the roof down taken here. It's in one of those cylinders. Hard on the brakes and absolutely sensible. Looking at behind the museum, and I can see that we've got another batch of cars on their way there with a V8 Mustang leading them out. But first we need to bring all of those cars back up the hill. We're going to group them up at Palace House. If you haven't been down to Palace House, you can see our hypercar lawn, which has got Supercar royalty down there. So make sure you head down to Palace House before you head home today. Also have a look around all of the green fields where you can see hundreds of supercars on display. I can see our cars now beginning to group at the bottom of the hill, and we are going to have the V-Storm coming up first. This effectively is scaffolding with wheels with, well, let's be honest, a Group A rally engine in the back of it. We saw this car here a few years ago. At that point it was rated at about 300 brake horsepower, but we've upped the power even more this year to 470 horsepower. To get from 0 to 60 miles an hour in this is just 2.5 seconds. So I grew up watching the Group A rallying in the mid-90s with the likes of Sainz and McCallum and McRae driving it. No, don't worry, we're not setting up guns, it is just a few of our cars here. Next up then, we've got our long-tail McLaren. If you're down there, listen to those turbos spool up as launch controllers again. So incredibly efficient, the McLarens are getting their power down, don't waste any of it. Novatech F12. This is one of just 15 in the world, so you're not going to see another one of these anytime soon. That wide arch body is full carbon fibre. It's got titanium race exhaust on it. So that bar's on stunning piece of kit alongside just 15 of those in the world, and we've got one here for you. Next up, our Ultimate GTR with that full fat American V8 in the back of it. Coming up the hill. Next up, our V12 Lamborghini, the Roadster as well, so you can hear all of those 12 cylinders howl. If you saw our sound off, one of these came a very close second to our V8 Mustang. Not with how things are going, especially with electrification and new government rules coming in. Here we have a supercharged 5-litre Toyota engine Mustang. This is in the sound as well, sounded great there, but now the limiter will kick in, so let's take it all the way up to 7.5 grand. On the black drops, here we go. Sounds more like machine gun fire, that. Sounds like it's running gunpowder rather than... Next up, we have our Ferrari 360 Spider. This is a proper pure blood Ferrari with the V8 in the back of it, naturally aspirated, and F1 gearbox in the middle of it. 2 seats there as well. Here we go. V8 Sing. Next set, 4.5. Here we go. If you like your noise and power, you are going to love this RTGR. I dare say we're going to see a bit of it now. To a stop. Next on our V12 powered Aston Martin DBS Superleggera. Someone asked me about half an hour ago, what do I think my favourite car is here this weekend, and I dare say it is this. This is a work of art with wheels, in my opinion. As loud or as loud as some of the ones that we've had, but still a very pungent mix of power and beauty. Next up we have our Porsche 911 Turbo. The engine mounted over the rear axle in this area will get plenty of traction. I guarantee to you that this car will not get unstuck. It will just put all of that power down. Now we're going to engage launch control. We're just making sure that we've got the all clear on the track. Marshall's just making sure that there's nobody on the track. And launch control. All power will go straight away through and come to a stop. They want you to brake before you hit that stop. Like I say, all of the Porsches, they just grip and go. There is absolutely no stopping them. Even in the wet, these cars will not come unstuck. I'm just going to have a look at the track here. Yes, I do believe it's rippled it. Coming up next, though, we have got a V12 Ferrari, followed by a V8 Ferrari just behind it as well. Really looking forward to this. It's almost an Italian special with a German and a Blighty in the middle of it. But that's coming up next. First, we need to bring our cars back up the track. Like I say, they are currently down at Palace House, where you can see our hypercar lawn with Supercar royalty down there. Make sure you head down there if you haven't already, ladies and gents. Also make sure you have a look around all of our traders, including Autoglim, who have got some very special show prices on for you today. They've got trade products as well as show prices. You will not get Autoglim products cheaper than on that stall here today, ladies and gents. So that I can guarantee. And the guys who work there are lovely. They will help you till the world ends. Trust me, they're fantastic guys there. Please do go over and see them. They're just outside of the museum, and they've got the full range, including all of their new products. But enough about Autoglim. Let's get the cars back up our straight, and we're starting with our V8 Mustang supercharged as well. Hard on the brakes now. Are we going to get a cheeky burnout going? No. Huge smiles inside that car as well, quite rightly so. Now then, let's see what our 360 Spider can do. 360 morphed into the F430 before we had the likes of the California and the 458. There is something in that noise of a Ferrari V8 howling up the track here that goes a glorious, glorious sound. And the right colour combination as well. Red exterior with green leather interior. Classic Ferrari. Next up then, we've got a Trevor joining us. Our TVR 4.5 litre V8 in the front of it, all going to the rear wheels. No ABS, no traction control, no driver aids, not even an airbag in there. Hard on the brakes now, we may get a cheeky burnout. Another little burnout for us as well. That's a straight one. That's right then, let's move on from noise management, shall we? Have a look at the DBS Super Leggero. Like I say, I think this is the prettiest car that's been built in modern history. This car is elegance defined. Everything about it is absolutely unfortunately, we haven't got all day because we need to get our next car on the track, engaging launch control, the Turbo S911. This will just grip and go. You cannot unstick one of these. Even in the wet, these won't come unstuck. Just look at the rate that that car accelerates. Hard on the accelerator. Stopping in the centre. Stopping at the brake mark is not easy to misunderstand. So that was a fantastic performance. We love the look of your car. Hope you all enjoy it. Pressure on the inside. Great number plate as well. Yes, it is. Next up then, this is one of my all-time favourite cars, ladies and gents. Actually ordered one of these back in 2012 when I was working for Ferrari. I did the full specification. The first time that car was seen was on Top Gear when Clarkson took it up to Scotland. In Buckinghamshire, of course it wasn't, and he absolutely adored the car. I've been in that car up to 195 miles an hour, and nothing could stop it. Formidable. Now then, let's move on 12 cylinders down to 4. Wheel spin now, but then traction control kicking in. Moving from Ferrari now to always been at loggerheads with one another, and this is our 600 LT, 600 horsepower with the exhaust poking right out the top of that engine bay cover. Twin turbo V8 in the centre of the car, near 50-50, perfect right distribution, and just unbelievable aero on the outside of this car. up then, moving from our McLaren, we head over to Germany for We've already seen one of these in the last batch. Just watch how quickly these cars grip and go. These are fantastic on roads, they are unbelievable on track. This is one of the very few cars I've driven on track and actually stopped because it scared me how quick it was. Most cars you can really wring the neck out of, but this it feels like it's driving you. They stick to the road like they are made out of super glue. And just watch it go now. We're going to engage launch control, it'll build itself up to about 5,500 RPM, screw up the turbos, and the mid boots, dump it all down, and away we go. Absolutely no messing around there. Despite that, you take this on the road and it's one of the easiest cars to drive over here. Now it's the first time we've seen a Maserati on track this weekend, and this one is very special indeed. Turismo MC Denali, 4.7 litre V8, 460 horsepower, 4.5 seconds to 60. Hard on the brakes. And the seats inside it you will also find in the Ferrari Enzo. Coming up in our next batch, ladies and gents, I can see an 8.4 litre Dodge Viper ACR coming to join us. So quite a few of you stood outside of the museum watching these cars burble past you. Why not come join us over at the hill? You'll get a much better demonstration of the power of these cars. Like I say, ladies and gents, all of this is being filmed here today, and if you want to relive all the action, see behind the scenes and enjoy all of the highlights from both Saturday and Sunday, you can watch it on YouTube tonight. The Saturday video is already on YouTube. You can see all of the track action and the sound off from yesterday. Just search for Artem on YouTube. Our 12-cylinder Ferrari then coming to join us. I've been in one of these at 190 miles an hour. So after they are on the front of it, so the flaps are open to cool the brakes. After they are on the top of the bonnet to the other side, it's a formidable car that. Keeping with Ferrari then, we move to the mid-engined V8 here, 4.5 litres. The flag drops. This was the replacement for the You can see those two almost tank-like splitters at the front which actually perform at speed to increase the aero. Now we move on to our long-tail McLaren. Another V8, but this one with 2 turbos strapped to it. Smaller capacity, 3.8 litres rather than 4.5 that was in the Ferrari. But in terms of going side by side, these are pretty much as quick as one another, just to catch was complete. What I'm so impressed with the McLaren is that hardly ducks at all. Unfortunately, no, they're not allowed a second go. I've told them to go back to the pit area. Coming on next then, we have our 911 Turbo. Just watch how efficient this car is in putting all of that performance down. Nothing, absolutely nothing goes to waste. This car's about performance, not pantomime. Just watch it go. In terms of getting the power down, there is very few cars more efficient than the 911 Turbo S. And finally, the MC Stradale. Just 497 of these were built worldwide. It's got Enzo seats in it. A very, very rare car. 4.5 seconds to 60, 190 miles an hour top speed, 4.7 litre V8. As well, and that's our next track. Let's see if we can bring our next cars on to the track. And I get the feeling you're going to enjoy this next one, ladies and gentlemen, because this has got an 8.4 litre V10, 600 horsepower in the Nürburgring in a fraction of 7 minutes. exhaust at the side of it, so enjoy this. Total absolutely beautiful. It has no trouble whatsoever. And a lovely going out of way as well. Fantastic, ladies and gents. Next up, we have our Mustang GTS deranged wide body. This is a 5 litre V8 with 700 horsepower. Playing 0 to 60 in just 3 seconds. Getting a little bit of wheel spin there, again a little bit Larry on there. Now that in the sound box, take a good look at this, and I'd suggest you wear sunglasses because you don't see them much brighter than this. You also don't see them much more expensive than this. This is the world's most expensive Aventador Roadster. I'm not going to tell you how much it costs. All you need to know is you can probably buy 3 or 4 houses. The owner of that treating it like how it was meant to be driven, engaging lawn control and giving it full noise. Now then, we move from a heavyweight to with our Alfa Romeo 4C, a 50th anniversary this one, 1.7 litre inline 4 turbo. This has got 237 horsepower, 4.5 seconds to 60 because the weighs about the same as a fly. Coming on to boost and flying away like it weighs absolutely nothing. It's fantastic on track. But you don't want on track its weight, and that has got absolutely none of it. Top speed of about 160 miles an hour in that last car, ladies and gents. It was launched to celebrate 50 years of the Alfa Romeo Duetto Spider. If you've not seen that car, I suggest you Google it, because it is heart-achingly beautiful. Coming up in our next batch, ladies and gents, I can see that we have got a Lamborghini, a Ferrari, and that methanol-injected Jaguar Estate. So stick around for that. He said that the tyres on the back of it have got about 4 mil, and he intends to go home with them at 2. You can guess what's coming on. But first, let's have our 8.4 litre V10 Viper coming back up here. This car lapped the Nürburgring in just 7 minutes 12 seconds. Anyone who knows the Nürburgring will know that that is a seriously fast time. Sure the engine in that has also been used to restart planets. Anyway, coming up next for you, ladies and gents, we have our wide body Mustang. Huge amount of power has been extracted from that 5 litre Coyote V8. Now then, you've got the world's most expensive Aventador Roadster. If you think the outside of this car's bright, take a look at the interior of it. Again, using launch control, getting into second gear, a 6.5 litre V12 in the middle of that car. And giving it a lovely rev for us as well. To just 4 with our little Alfa Romeo 4C Spider. But it's still a very potent little car, this. Don't let it undermine you or anything like that, ladies and gents. This is a fantastic car to drive. And this is a 50th anniversary special edition. Top speed in this all about 160 miles an hour. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, please can I ask you to put your hands together for our final batch of cars. And we start with our V10 Lamborghini. Gorgeous colour on this Hurricane. 2 exhausts, opening out the back. Let's see what 5.2 litres of V10 takes on. Something very archaic about that sound. That's sort of like the caveman element of your and we're going to have an F430 spoiler. Love to see a V10. Now we're going to hear a V8. So now we've got a supercharged V8 coming up next. The F430, then put all of the power down. And so, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our final car today, which is our methanol-injected Jaguar XFRS Sport Brake. Put it this way, methanol injection is like drag fuel, basically. What? What have you done now? What have you done to it? You want me to come in the car? Shall I do it? So you said to me that you were going to do a burn race. People watching you. I am definitely putting my seatbelt on for this. Here we go, ladies and gents. Hard on the brakes, absolutely perfect. Well done, sir. Let's all go now, shall we? Come on. Do me a favour. Spoken up before me, will you? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the methanol injected XF RS.
From Simply Aston Martin here at Beaulieu. Thanks again for watching. You're mental!